Yeah, I think that was really the tightest battle all year, was getting in the program. You know, there was a super strong class of 14 that had to get trimmed up to 7, and you know, one of the best classes, you know, the program's ever had. You know, with all of us being winners. So really think that was probably the hardest battle of the year, was just getting in. But I was super excited when we found out.
You know, once you sign up for this program, you know, there's like a really exciting feeling and everything, and like getting in it for the first time is really cool. But then knowing exactly what, you know, it entails and what follows, it was absolutely a no-brainer the second year to sign up, because I mean, I was like looking back on the year that I just had, and I'm like, man, I can't not do that again, you know, if I have the opportunity.
I had a good time being part of the program in 2022, so I figured I'd give it another shot and try and go for that championship, and you know, just try again. I really enjoyed it, so it just changes me as a person and helps me out, and I feel like it's another thing that we could shoot for in the racing season.
Me and Dad talked about it for a couple years, but still was just kind of didn't really know how it worked, how to really get into it, and I guess it was beginning of 22 season or end of 21 season when you apply. We applied for it and made it to the final 16, and we felt like we were happy we made it to the final 16 in our first try, and especially only having one late model season under our belt at that time. And we applied this past year and got in, and you know, I'm still excited about it. You know, it's one of those things that you can add to your resume, and you learn a lot from it. You meet a lot of people, and that's what racing's all about.
Honestly, the biggest thing for me, and it's probably different for most people, but I'm not a very social person. I don't like talking to people. I don't like doing things out of my comfort zone, but this program has made me realize the importance of it, and that's why I signed up again, is because I thought it, you know, pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I thought if I did one more year, you know, it'd make me even better at it. And that's why I encourage it to other young race car drivers, is because a lot of them are like me. A lot of them don't like to talk to people. So I think this is a great program to kind of get outside your comfort zone.
People like Ty Majeski, watching him come up through the ranks and dominate, seeing him go through the program, seeing what it did for him. And then later on, when I was younger in my racing career, I kind of came up through the ranks with Luke Penthouse. And seeing him go through the program and seeing what it did for him is really what inspired me to go for it. And Alan Kulwicki being such an inspiring figure in my racing career was also another big part of it. Coming from Wisconsin and his whole backstory, kind of building everything up on his own, it's really inspiring. So it's something I really wanted to be a part of.
All the tracks in Wisconsin, like you said, we've got a lot of racing history, and all of them are pretty old racetracks. There's not very many new ones. So, to my understanding, I bet you Alan raced at 90% of them that we race at. And to be able to race at those tracks and kind of almost follow in his footsteps per se, going from the local tracks. Obviously, I didn't start at Slinger, but going from the local tracks to kind of progress to that Midwest Regional Series, which is now the ASA Midwest Tour, and racing the majority of those races is pretty cool. And it's cool to be able to follow in those footsteps as a Wisconsin-born driver.
One of the big things that stuck out to me was we got to go to a school and volunteer there, and just kind of show the kids the race car and different things, and what kid doesn't like a race car. So that was one thing I really enjoyed, because, you know, you have all these kids that are really interested in it. Kind of there might be one or two kids there that might want to race the race car, and with all of the racing and all of the work you do inside of it, you got to give back to your community sometime. And you know, it's really opened my eyes and made me a little bit more humble than I was before this season.
We had still the Vanessa Behan Christ Nursery, and then we added the Humane Society this year, where we were doing a little bit of work for them. But we didn't add too many more things, but we just kept pushing more to do more stuff with those charities. So definitely tried to get out and do as much as I could. It never was really just a thought in my head, you know, but now that I have the idea, I definitely continue doing it for a very long time.
I went and worked at a food bank quite a few times. We raised food for them. We actually helped raise money for a banquet for soldiers returning home. And then my personal favorite one, we were able to provide housing and a vehicle for a family that we knew that was in need. So we kind of privately raised funding because we didn't want to, you know, embarrass them or whatever. But that was my favorite, is because, you know, everybody kind of goes through those financial hardships. So to be able to help them through that was was really cool. That was my personal favorite.
I really think the biggest takeaway is just what I could do with my platform, even at this level. You know, what we're able to do with some of our community service work, you know, off the track with fundraisers throughout the year. It was really amazing to me to see, you know, even at, you know, my level, you see the Cup drivers have their foundations and everything they're able to do, but even, you know, what we're able to do, you know, at a short track, late model level. So that was super awesome to see, and definitely something that I'm going to carry with me throughout the rest of my career.
The biggest thing I've taken from Alan Kulwicki is he was an engineer, a mechanical engineer, and I went to mechanical engineering school and just graduated with my engineering degree. And to be able to see that apply to the race car is really cool. And I think that gives you a little bit of an edge up on your competition, not only really understanding the race car, but engineers is a very detailed profession in itself. And I felt like Alan kind of took that from engineering as well. He was a very detail-oriented person from everything I had heard. And that's something I try to take a lot of pride in on my race car. I have no problem working until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to make sure my race car is right, to ensure that I won't have to do things at the racetrack that should be done at the shop and are very important to be ready to go when you get to the racetrack. Because when you're there, especially these days, we don't have a lot of practice, and you got to be right when you get to the racetrack. And I felt like Alan did a very good job of that from everything I had heard.
I know Alan Kulwicki made, you know, some of his own calls and stuff in the race car, and I make a lot of my own calls in the race car. And you know, I lost that battle at Berlin race because I felt I had just a lot going on and stuff. So it kind of opened my eyes to, wow, you know, I can't even do this at this level, but he was able to do it at his, you know, at the top level. So just, you know, maybe not learn more things about him, but almost respect him even more.
One of the things that I read was Alan Kulwicki's credo, which was that you take what you have, do the best that you can with it, and work on making it better every week. And I really took that to heart for this season, and we had a lot of rough finishes this year, especially starting off the year. We had a couple DNFs, and I kind of just took it one race at a time. I said, I'm going to race as hard as I can with what I got every race, and then I'm going to work with my team to make it better every week. And I think that was a new perspective that I had this year that I really appreciated. I don't think I would have had without being in the program.
I think it might have been lap 2 or 3 we got spun out, and South Boston's just such a hard place to pass. I'm like, these guys are so good. They have so many laps around this place and so much experience. I'm like, this is going to be hard just to get a top 5 out of this. And luck played in our favor, and I think we got the lead with about 20 to go of the race and ended up winning the race. That was definitely the biggest one. Going all the way back and all the way back to the front was pretty cool. So that's one thing I'll definitely remember this season.
Even back like when you're racing against for a championship with like in your own series, you know who was where and who you need to beat and what you need to do to be better, but it's kind of hard to, you know, learn what everybody else is doing across the country.
We had a stellar class this year. I was so, it was like almost frustrating because like literally everyone in the class was winning. So there was no, you know, I guess breathing room for any of us. You know, we're competing against each other at a really high level, and every one of the drivers that are in this class are like, they're A-plus drivers, very, very good drivers. So it made it fun and it made it challenging, and I think, you know, it makes every driver all the way from 7th to 1st proud to be where they are, because if you look at literally every driver's season that has been in the program, like there's nothing to hang your head about.
There was a stretch of this summer where it was all out, you know, because we had to run 2 cars, 1 car Saturday and 1 car Sunday, you know, plus tack on, you know, going to a school or going to an event or doing something, you know, that pretty much loses the majority of a day, you know, traveling to do that. So, you know, by the time you know, clean 1 car on Monday, clean the cars on Monday and service them on Tuesday and go to a school on, you know, Wednesday and set one up Thursday and set one up Friday, there's not a lot of room for torn up body panels and errors and things to happen. So it definitely felt like, you know, the pressure was on all year, but, you know, when you click into that mode, you know, it's just what you're doing and what needs to be done.